Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How's everybody doing? Well, we have Tropical Depression Lisa here in the Bay of Campeche, entering the Bay of Campeche. Will this system develop into anything in the Gulf of Mexico as we head into the weekend and early next week? We'll take a look at those possibilities, as well as a potential area 30% chance through day 5. This is going to be some moisture that's going to be heading out around San Juan, Puerto Rico, and we could have ourselves some sort of a tropical system by early next week. Take a look at that. Both the GFS and the Euro are indicating that we could have something, maybe our next named storm. Will it become a hurricane? We'll take a look at all those possibilities here, and if that weren't enough, the U.S. East Coast will be looking at a major pattern reversal come November 15th. This could set us up for a very wintry and snowy week for Thanksgiving week. And if you haven't caught my winter outlook for this winter to find out how much snow could fall in your area, the link is in the description down below and at the end of this video. Let's get into it. All right, so we're taking a look at what's left of Lisa here first. Yeah, it's going to be a big heavy rain producer here out into Central America here and the Bay of Campeche. Now, this kind of just meanders around for days. It doesn't have any place to go until, look at this. Yeah, we have a frontal boundary that's going to rob this system of some of its energy. You can see some of its energy streaming north here. Here is that big severe weather outbreak that I'll be showing you momentarily on the HRRR model. So it's a really interesting event. Definitely going to get into this as we head in time here. But look at this. Take a look at this. We don't have too much to talk about left here with Lisa. You can see it kind of just fizzles out, and it tries to head back towards the coastline here. So then our attention is going to be drawn back east here. Take a look at this. Let's back this up because this is Sunday. Let's just back this up a few frames here. And it comes out of the Eastern Caribbean here. You can see this flow. You have this easterly flow coming, and we also have a system up here. Now, these two are going to kind of combine forces, so to speak. And this time of year, you do have to watch this sort of thing. But you can see, here's Puerto Rico. It will be getting some heavy rain over the weekend here. Definitely some heavy rain, 3 to 4 inches at the very least here. And then look at this. Sunday at 3 a.m., we start to see quite a big conglomeration, especially just northeast of Puerto Rico here. And this is where we're really going to start to see some development during this time frame, because wind shear will still be there, but it will be slackening in time. And as you can see, this becomes more of, at least on the GFS here, a very broad, open area of low pressure. You can see it's got a lot of tropical moisture that's going to be funneling westward here. This is Monday at 3 p.m. Now, the big focus here is Florida. How does this impact the southeastern part of the United States and the Bahamas? Well, as we go in time here, you can see there's definitely something here. And as we go in time, my concern is maybe this doesn't make a run up these coasts because we have a lot of high-pressure systems up here into the northeast and the north part of the country and into the North Atlantic. So as we head in time, this could become a potential Gulf Coast threat here. You can see as we cross over here into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, this is by Wednesday, November 9th. It's not showing like any areas of severe development here, but the fact that there's an entity, so to speak, in this area and kind of strung out across this area as well, kind of tells me the trend is that we will see some sort of a named system somewhere in this region. So going forward here, the details are pretty muddled. You can see Friday, November 11th. There's something here in the Eastern Gulf. It's pretty persistent. And then look at this. This is a frontal boundary that I'm going to show you. This is going to be the start of our big pattern change you can see up here in the North Country. But yeah, as we go in time, we definitely want to watch this East Coast threat, southeastern part of the United States, Gulf of Mexico. If you're still in these tropical areas, you definitely want to watch and look at this out here. This is Saturday, November 12th. Look what is just northeast of the Lesser Antilles. Let me just back this up a few frames here. I can show you the evolution of this. So this kind of comes out of the southeast. This has been pretty prevalent this season with getting these systems coming out of the just south of the intertropical convergence zone. You can see it kind of gets stuck northeast of the islands, and then it tries to form somewhat of an eye here just northeast of the Virgin Islands here. So this is by Monday, November 14th. We're getting pretty far out here on the scale, but it is interesting to look at and see that this tropical season There it is, really blowing up into a hurricane. It just doesn't want to die. And look at that, forming a pretty formidable eye. So we could have a major hurricane out here in the middle of November. And look at this down here. You have to watch these tail ends of these frontal boundaries here in the Gulf of Mexico. We could have something develop down here as well. So we're far from the end of the tropics here. All right, so taking a look at the euro here, definitely want to take a look at this product because, thanks to Tropical Tidbits here, this is really good to look at, in dry air versus very moist air. And I wanted to see what the structure of the system around the Puerto Rico area this weekend is going to look like. So you can already see it here pretty prevalently here. This is pretty remarkable here on the euro. There it is. And there's a secondary low here that seems to be, trying to take over. And look at all this tropical moisture spinning northward. This is Saturday, early Saturday morning here over Puerto Rico. So as we head in time, this is a really interesting system. This is going to be definitely one that we're going to watch here. I almost think looking at this, there's another area of low pressure. There is kind of an open low. You can see this, forming kind of like a subtropical system, so to speak, because look what's happening here. You have this dry air wrapping around on the southeast side. Then you got this moist air on the northeast side, and you're surrounded by all this dry air to the north as well. So watch what happens in time. It's a very broad area of circulation, low pressure. And there it is. We start to see a low start to really form right over the center of circulation. This is late Sunday. There's still dry air forming into this, which tells me maybe this is going to be more subtropical, but you never know. We might have a full tropical system on our hands here, especially if it can get a little bit more organized and get the center tightened a little bit. But you know what? This is a really broad circulation here. So it's going to take a lot to get this thing, cranking, so to speak. And there is a lot of dry air to the west it does have to overcome as well. This is heading on into Monday and into Tuesday of next week. The euro kind of breaks. There's two areas of low pressure. And look at this over here. There's that other disturbance that was showing up on the GFS. So the models aren't sure exactly what to do with this at this point. It is pretty prevalent that this high to the north is going to remain really well anchored. So that is going to act as a brick wall. It cannot go north of that line. So this thing has no way to go except westward here. So as we go in time, let's see how it interacts with all this dry air. It does start to erode that dry air boundary by this point. It's weird to see that all the dry air is to the south over the tropics. And then look at all this moist flow coming into the Carolinas. So you could be seeing some pretty heavy rains come in with this system. That might be the big story with this system. It remains on the euro a broad open level low that does get into the eastern Gulf here. So as you can see, look at this. This is by Thursday, early Thursday morning, November 10th. Yeah, there is some dry air that's really starting to wrap around here. So that should start to really cut off the moisture flow into South Florida here. And as we head further into time, look how the euro handles this system. So it kind of starts to get caught up in the westerlies. You can see by this part of the game, high pressure starts to retreat to the east out of the northeast. And what you start to get is that first trough. So that's going to help to pick this system up here on the euro. You can see it lifting up to the north, and it may become a big heavy rain producer up into parts of the mid-Atlantic and the northeast. And look at that. Behind that, maybe this is ending the tropical season here for the Gulf of Mexico. That remains to be seen. Not ready to say that quite yet, but you can see an area of high pressure building in behind that. And look what's coming on its heels over here. That's another broad area of low pressure. Lots of moisture on the east side, lots of dry air here on the northwest side. We might have another repeat coming here. There is something here in the eastern Pacific I wanted to show you as well that could get stirred up. This is right around Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, November 9th. Look at this. GFS might be onto something here. There is a hurricane being shown here just south of the resort towns of Mexico. So we could be looking at look at that. Yeah, we could be looking at the potential here for any hurricane development. Thankfully, it looks like the GFS heads this westward here. But watch as we head in time here. Let's see if that stays off the coast. It gets pretty dangerously close to Acapulco here, and then it tries to make a run for the coast. It looks like it is weakening by this point, but still, we're going to keep an eye on it here. All right, so as we get into the Western Pacific, the Asian Pacific here, let's see what we got going on. So look at that. Things look pretty clear. There is some areas of disturbed weather over here in the Indian Ocean. Definitely want to keep an eye on this, but look at this. Philippines are clear. We do have a little feature northeast of Taiwan here. Let's head into motion here and see what we got going on, see if we have anything brewing. So, yeah, we do have this little feature just north of the Philippines as we head through the weekend here. Still staying off the coast. That's good news. As we head towards the Indian Ocean, we might have some sort of a system trying to develop here. I showed you that in the last weather segment here. So let's kind of get the big picture and see if anything catches our eye here as we go through next week. Yeah, as I said, there's that area into the central Indian Ocean. There is an area down here as well, but take a look here. Northeast of the Philippines, we're still watching this area. It is staying away from land. That's great, but it does look like it's getting caught up in the westerlies here. So as we continue in time here, let's take a look and see if we have anything else brewing. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad until we get to about mid-November. This is kind of what I was fearing. Whatever's left of this system kind of heads towards the coastline. It doesn't look like any sort of typhoon or anything, or cyclone as they call them. But take a look at this. Yeah, we have some sort of tropical wave here at this time. This is Saturday, November 12th, heading through the Philippines. It might bring some heavy rain and some gusty winds. But over here, this is what I'm a little bit more concerned about. Take a look at this as we head in time here. We'll see if this develops into anything. Yeah, this is exactly what I was afraid of here. Take a look at this. This is trying to form a little bit of an eye here, so to speak. And as we continue, this is Tuesday, November 15th, Wednesday, November 16th. Look at this. This makes a run for the northern Philippines, and this, my friends, could be a pretty formidable typhoon. So we'll watch this trend here. It is far out. Don't focus on any one point. If you're anywhere in the Philippines up to Taiwan, you definitely want to keep an eye on this system. But look at that. Landfall in the northern Philippines, and then redeveloping Friday, November 18th on the other side of the Philippines, and then maybe making a run for South China. So please stay tuned, especially if you're in the Philippines here. So we're starting off with the HRRR model here. It gives us a really good idea of what's going on the rest of the week into the beginning of the weekend. Look at that. Nice and clear back east, but look what we got going on down here across the south. Southern Plains, parts of Texas. You see this orange outline here? This is a enhanced risk of severe weather, and this yellow area is a slight risk of severe weather. This is a pretty big deal because we could see a big tornado outbreak here across parts of northeast Texas, heading into parts of southwestern Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, and northwestern part of Louisiana. So watch this as we go in time here with the HRRR model. A pretty massive squall line develops, particularly just east of Dallas at 5 p.m. So this is when you're getting out of work, you want to start to enjoy the weekend. Look what's lining up here. Some of these supercells could contain tornadoes, damaging wind, large hail. This is a very vigorous system. And watch as we continue. This is going to be a nocturnal threat. This turns into a massive severe weather problem here. Look at this. Places like Tyler, Texas, all the way up to Texarkana, just west of you by this point, 7 p.m. This is not looking very good. So if you live in these areas, definitely heed the watches and the warnings. But look what starts. This is a really curious thing here. There's so much instability that this is like a prefrontal trough. Here is the actual front. Look at this. We have a double line of severe thunderstorms. This second line will be more damaging straight line winds. The first line will be more tornadic here. So definitely watch out for that. They both have their own major issues here. But look at this. It starts to form, this is 11 p.m. Friday evening, into a solid line. It's still kind of doubled here, but places like northwestern parts of Houston, Texas here, look at this. You're going to start getting in on the act of this, even into parts of Louisiana as well. Look at this. We start to get into this damaging wind, large hail threat overnight, so it turns less of a tornado threat and more of a major squall line. Look at this. This goes all the way up into parts of the Midwest here. So it's not going to be severe up here west of Chicago, but it's going to be some real heavy rain. Look at this. And some of these even this far north into parts of Missouri, south central Missouri, could be severe. So still want to watch out for some isolated severe here. This is a widespread wind event as it heads east overnight. So let's get the severe weather contours out for day 3 here, which would include Saturday. Look at this. So yeah, it's gonna wane a little bit here. We still have somewhat of a smaller threat throughout the day on Saturday, but watch this as we take a look at the big picture here. It's going to turn more into a conglomerated heavy rain event. Don't get me wrong. These are still some very strong storms, and I am really concerned. This is 4 a.m. right along the Mississippi River. Still going to see damaging wind threat continuing overnight here, but watch as we head into the morning, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. I think some of these cells will start to weaken a little bit, more down to 50, 55 mile per hour wind gust. That's still pretty strong, but at least it won't be the horrible damaging wind. And look at this. It starts to form the comma, the classic comma. So it's starting to occlude up here. So it is a weakening system, and that's great news for you people back east here. Take a look at this. It kind of forms into more of a heavy rain threat as we head towards 1 p.m. Saturday here. Take a look at this. Some of these cells could still be strong, contain some isolated damaging wind gusts, but at this point we're looking at more of a heavy rain threat into your Saturday. And we'll take the last frame here. There it is. Most, if not all, of your Saturday along the East Coast. It's looking really beautiful. All right, so this is potentially the start of winter across the East. Not right now. Look at that. That high pressure remains in control. There is our area, our tropical disturbance there. It is a big, wide open, broad area of low pressure. But look at this high across the North Atlantic. This is what I'm fearing is going to steer things this direction, because, you know, it's blocked here to the north. It's like a brick wall. So as we head towards, here's Monday next week, Tuesday, look at this. This is what's so confusing. We have 2 areas of disturbed weather by next Wednesday, November 9th here. This was what makes the pattern so interesting. And look at this massive trough across the west. That strengthens the ridge further. So this tropical entity, whatever it is, whether it's 2 or 1, it has no place to go. So let's back that up just slightly. There we go. So we head throughout next week. We definitely have some sort of Gulf disturbance here. So if you're in the Gulf, it's really starting to look like there might be a problem. Whether it's a landfall, it's going to be hard to head north here, because look how the high really starts to build to the south here. But look what's brewing out west here. This is a trough that's kind of kicking to the east here. This is Saturday, November 12th. This is the initial first shot here. So we're really getting a cold front come the second weekend here of November, and that's really going to start the downfall here of these warm temperatures we've seen across the Northeast. And as you can see, as we head in time here, look at this. Yeah, we get a quick ridge building in. There is that hurricane that was showing up. There's that Eastern Pacific hurricane as well. But we start to see the leading edge here of a pattern change. This is by Wednesday, November 16th here. So this is a little different than the previous model run, but take a look at this. Yeah, we get the trough developing here across the east, another bigger trough. We see a pattern that's more conducive for storminess here. And this is where we're going to start, getting into later on the following week. We're going to start seeing these systems a lot cooler air by this time. All right, so as we get in the Euro, let's see if that agrees with the GFS. Well, let's take a look. So heading into the late weekend, there's our big old tropical disturbance. There's our area of high pressure, and there's that massive trough out west here. So as we head in time, yeah, it's pretty well agreeing with the GFS. It spins our tropical entity here into the Gulf of Mexico by Wednesday, November 9th there. Let's back that up. Let's see, there it is. Wednesday, November 9th. So look at that. As we head in time here, it's curious here. This is by the 13th, but look what's behind it. Yeah, we rebuild that ridge back east here. Let's see what the Euro did with that tropical area. It kind of just absorbed it and weakened it towards, it moved towards the southern Caribbean here, which is pretty interesting. So let's just bring our CFS model up here. See if we have any clarity here. Yeah, we start to get, this is Thanksgiving week. There's a big old trough, so you can start to get, there's no blocking up here, so you're not going to result in any major, East Coast snowstorms, but you'll get these clipper type systems coming down across the scenario like this, or you could get the southern branch bringing a storm up that exits like this and still bring some snowfall. So definitely want to watch this. Look at this. Right before Thanksgiving, yeah, we get a ridge. And look at this. Thanksgiving Day. Look at this. Yeah, so right after Thanksgiving, then we start to get a trough here into the northeast. It's a very, very fast-moving pattern. And look at that. Right after Thanksgiving into the following week. This is a negatively tilted trough. We could be seeing some snowstorms setting up here. And look at this pattern. It's a crazy pattern. It's going to be very fast-moving and stormy. And here we are, John, from Liverpool, UK, 20 degrees Celsius and sunny. Look at that beautiful weather there across the UK, getting out there and enjoying it on the open highways. Nice capture there, John, in that beautiful sunny area. So, precipitation amounts. Let's see who's going to see the big winner or the big loser, however you look at it. So, if we head through Monday, look at that. Most of the Northeast stays dry. Some of this that's occurring in western New York, western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, that is falling Sunday, late Saturday night, Sunday, when we get that first wave of rain that moves into the region. But look at this. This is all up here. This is more stratiform rain up in the Midwest, but this is all with your severe weather. You'll see definitely 1 to 2 inches at least out of this. All right, if we take a look at the Northeast, it stays pretty dry through. Take a look at that. Saturday. It's not until Saturday night into early Sunday morning we have a band of rain that moves in. So, yeah, it's mainly during the real early morning hours of Sunday. You could see up to a 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch in some of these heavier showers that move in, but no severe weather is likely. All right, so nationally here, we'll take a look at your TGIF. Look at this. There's the trough. Wow. Yeah, it's a big cool down in the northern plains from the 70s to the 40s for highs, but that's more average for this time of year. Look at this. We pushed the 70s, near 70 degrees up into the northeast for your Saturday as well. Look at that. 74 in Rochester, 75 in New York City, 76 in Boston. That is crazy. So, is this going to last? So, Sunday, we get a little bit, you can see the 70-degree line moves a little bit farther to the south, but look at this. Even the 60s up here into the north is still above average for this time of year. And then we head into Monday. Yeah, we're setting up a zone here where we're trying to push this warm air to the north. Look at this cold air building here to the north. It is building indeed. Look at that. And wow. We're getting some really bitter cold readings up here, only in the teens and some of the single digits here in the purple areas for highs in Montana. So we're building this up, and that is going to get ready later on in November here to push south and east. Look at this. Even by Tuesday, you start to see 50s into parts of the northeast here. So we're definitely going to start to cool things down a little bit. But look at that. We see another push of warmth for Wednesday, November 9th. Extended outlook from my hometown viewers from Binghamton to Scranton. Look at this. Friday through Tuesday. Friday's your best day, sunny and 70. It's also your non-windy day. Get out there and enjoy if you have the day off. Look at that. Windy. Clouds will be rolling in Saturday with a front coming in from the west. I think you'll hold off on any shower activity until Saturday night after midnight into Sunday morning, mainly before 10 a.m. Then it'll clear out a little bit. Still a lot of clouds and turning windier. Gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Into Monday, we cool it down just slightly. But look at that. By Tuesday, sunny skies as well. Windy, 55. We're heading still a little bit above average. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern and Northeastern as well. Guess what? Winter weather outlook, it's in the description in the link down below. Also the link in this video. You're probably seeing it on the screen now. Click it. Go to my winter weather outlook. Watch it. You'll love it. And Facebook at Media Mark. Also Weather Northeastern. Also Hurricane Northeastern. At Twitter at Weather Eastern. MediaMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com.